What is up, everyone? My name is Anthony, and for today's video, I actually don't have aim assist on this time, so you can't say I'm bad. Well, I mean, you can say I'm bad, but give me a little bit of leeway here. Anyways, for today's video, we got a juicy video. As you guys can see by the title, we are going to be talking about how I went broke. Now, I haven't ever been rich, so I don't know if it really makes sense to call me broke, but if being almost negative $10,000 in my bank account classifies as being broke, then hopefully this title is acceptable because I felt really broke. Anyways, we're going to get into that. Hope you guys have had a great day so far when you decide to watch this. The love on this channel has been amazing. Even though this video is pretty negative, I'm feeling positive, and it's going to be fun to talk about, and I guess I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you guys don't make the same mistakes that I did because I'm dumb. So anyways, as some of you may know, over the past, year or two, my music royalties have gone down a decent bit. Not a worrisome amount, but definitely a decent amount. I can still survive and everything, and I guess for the last 1 or 2 years, I've kind of been getting used to not making as much as I used to. Not only that, at the beginning of 2024, I was still attempting to be in a relationship, and it was going pretty poorly. I let my ex stay in my apartment that I was still paying a little bit for, and then I ended up not paying anything for it at all because I was like, I'm literally not living there, and you're making more than me. And so that was a thing, and I just hit a trick shot. Can we hit a reverse two-piece? No, we can't. Okay, that was really random. Wow. Yeah, aside from the apartment that I was paying for that I wasn't living in, I had expenses. I was helping my mom with stuff. I'm obviously making less. And yeah, a lot of stuff is happening all at once. Now, if you guys remember in one of my videos, I talked about being sick for a while. And my psychiatrist, I think it was, told me that I might be having like a serotonin issue, maybe a dopamine issue. He was basically saying I was having some sort of issue with stuff being produced in my body. Maybe there was too little of it getting produced. Maybe there was too much of it getting produced. And I'm not going to lie, I think he was probably right, because I found something that I really enjoyed doing that made me feel a lot better, and I actually wasn't throwing up as much, and this is going to sound crazy. It's going to sound crazy, but I literally chew like 2 pieces of gum, and I do this one thing, and that thing is gambling. Now, I do not encourage anybody to gamble. It is extremely addicting. It is a lot of fun, but it is also unbelievably damaging to your bank account if you are not winning, and I honestly recommend that nobody starts gambling after you hear everything that happened with me. So essentially, I started gambling, and while this is going on, I'm obviously stupid depressed. I'm really sick, and for some reason, like, the dopamine that I'm getting is offsetting my nausea for some reason, which was a crazy thing. And I was like, you know what, dude? I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm feeling better, whatever. I don't care about how much money I lose. I'm just going to lock in and gamble. This was a terrible decision. This is probably one of the worst decisions I had made because it wasn't just a couple $1,000s. It was tens of thousands of dollars. Now, I make a decent amount a month, so I can cover that much money if I'm spending that much money a month. But then it started to exceed my monthly income, and that was very bad. I had a couple $1,000s, I would say, saved up in my bank account, and pretty much all of that went bye-bye. I parted ways with my money because I was having a good time and I wasn't, getting sick as much. And probably one of the worst ways possible besides doing drugs. I literally think drugs probably would have been better, but thank God I wasn't doing anything like that. But yeah, gambling in a way saved me. I hesitate saying that because it's kind of crazy to say, but I actually wasn't throwing up as much, and I wasn't focused on the fact that I just went through the worst breakup of all time and lost a potential child. So that was very, very tough, but it was worth it, ? In some ways. And yeah, I mean, to this day, I still partake in it a little bit, but it's a little bit more controlled. It's definitely not as crazy as it was before. So now that you guys have that background, you can tell that I was not having a lot of money in my bank account at all times because of how much I was spending on online gambling. And I would just say right now, that was entirely my fault. I really got into it. It was pretty crazy. Also, if you guys didn't know, when you are on antidepressants and stuff like that, things like gambling don't seem as bad to you because your brain is kind of chilled out. And I didn't know that until one of my friends who is, studying to become a therapist told me that actually can be a side effect of antidepressants. So that's crazy. And I wish I would have known that before I started taking them because that was insane. So anyways, yeah, I don't have as much money in my bank account. And one of the months that my ex was living in my apartment, she actually didn't have enough money to pay the rent, and that was not good because she was living in there. I obviously, because it was signed in my name, I obviously had the obligation to pay, and I did. I paid all of the money. It was like $3 grand, and it wasn't good for me at all because at the same time, one of my favorite cats ever that I had, Cleo, who had very bad health issues, ended up passing away. The hospital bill, I think, was about $7,000. So imagine that. All of the money I lost gambling. My cat passed away, which ended up costing me $7,000, and the extra $3,000 of rent and whatever it was for utilities that my ex didn't pay. In all seriousness, I was down a scary amount of money, and that was the first time that my account had ever gone into the negative. It was like negative $2,500. I had never seen that negative sign in front of my bank account, and it wasn't just negative a couple dollars, it was negative thousands. And while I was on antidepressants, I didn't even care. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It was scary, but I didn't care. Like, I knew it was bad. Okay, I knew it was bad. I saw it and I was like, oh, it's probably not good. But for some reason, there was just that like care factor in your brain where you should be worried about something. I wasn't worried. And so for months, and I'm so serious, months, I stayed in that hole of not having enough money because I was continuing to gamble it all. I couldn't get out of the hole. And it's not a great situation. It's really bad. And eventually I'm like, you know what, man? I am just going to stop gambling altogether. I'm going to lock in. You know, my mom's worried about me. My friends are worried about me. I'm done. And I actually stopped for a while. The problem with that is I started buying a lot of Pokemon cards that were graded because I felt like they were going to go up, which in itself is like a luxury investment, but I kind of see it as gambling. And shortly after that, I found a website that you could put money in. You get these things called gems, and you can spin for Pokemon cards. I was addicted to gambling yet again, and it sucked because not only was I going on that site, I was also going on the gambling site, the actual gambling site that I had been going on months before that. I went negative almost $9,000, okay? It was bad. I actually got let go from my accounting firm, which is crazy, and I was just stupid, man. And that was like legitimately like 4 or 5 months ago. At the time of me recording this video or whenever this video goes up. So that was a recent thing. And I don't know, because there was no more excuse of like, I'm on antidepressants. Do I feel like the antidepressants kind of killed my worry in general? Yeah, like it definitely made me worry less about stuff even long after I stopped taking them. Because it obviously, you know, alters your brain a little bit. And yeah, that was a recent development where I was negative almost $9,000. And let me just say this. We are okay now, all right? I am finally out of the hole. I'm not negative in my bank account, and I have a decent amount of money coming in. I can pay a lot of credit cards off and a lot of stuff off, so I'm very excited to finally get out of this bad position. But I'm so serious, I was legitimately broke. I was eating like ham sandwiches for 3 meals a day because I didn't have money to DoorDash. I didn't have money to go out to any supermarkets and get stuff. It was that bad. And yes, I get paid one time a month at the end. So I had to go through whole months of waiting to get money. I'd gamble it, and then it was GG. So did I dig my own grave? Absolutely. But were there things in my life that kind of kickstarted it a little bit? Absolutely as well. It's not fun to have your ex betray you and not pay you money. She still owes me money, which is pretty crazy. And obviously, the passing of my cat was extremely sad, and yeah. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of negative stuff, I should say, happened, and that's what led me to completely going broke. It was really scary, and like I said, I'm very happy that I'm out of it, but gosh, man, people don't realize how your emotions and drugs that you take and the chemical changes they cause can really affect how you view the world and how things become less important or more important. It's actually insane. So seriously, take care of yourselves. Take care of your brains. Please be responsible, or just don't start things at all that you feel like you're going to get addicted or attached to. And yeah, learn from my stories. You guys know I talk about a lot of negative stuff in my life, and I don't really try to do it as a pity party. You know, it's nice to hear people be like, I'm glad you're doing better, because it's kind of like a pat on my back. I'm like, heck yeah, it is nice. I feel like I don't tell myself that enough, like that it's nice that things are okay. But I really want these videos to be reminders of things you probably shouldn't do in your life, so you can avoid the situations that I was in with losing friends and losing money and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that is how I went broke, and now we're about to hit a bill cam. and everything's going to be 10 times better. Oh my god, he hit it. 49? Wait, 49 is crazy. Wait, dude, am I going to put this in the video for y'all? Did he hybrid knack? I hope he did. Oh my gosh. It's going straight into montage. Oh, that was crazy. I just hit a crazy shot. 15 meters? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are we locked? Did we cook, chat? 2, 3, 4 with the Monty. You know what? We'll take it. Guy was a little close, but it's all right. That was cool. So, yeah. That is how I went broke. Hope y'all enjoyed. Have a good one.